Now, before you go in and start cutting, you want to make sure that you part your hair into smaller sections and work that way. It is also important that you go through and do a finger detangle to do a thorough survey of each and every curl. 1, you don't want to overcut, leaving patches and bald spots in your hair. And then 2, you don't want to accidentally cut your real hair. What you see me doing now is making sure that I detangle or kind of pull out the ends or unravel the ends of the hair so that I can fully get that curl out. I'm also going through each curl to see which part of the curls are damaged and which part of the curls are still intact and which curls I need to take out completely, because we don't want matted curls in our hair. This is also a great time to go in and tighten those knots that may have slipped from the root. See, that's my hair. I want to make sure that I know where my hair is at all times so I do not accidentally cut that braid off, because that has happened before. Now I'm going to go in and continue the process, making sure that I thoroughly finger detangle or lightly finger detangle my hair before I go in and start cutting out all of those knots and fuzz balls. First section, okay, back here, like so, and I just pinned it out the way so I won't get it confused with this next section. All right, and this is what it looks like before I start to go in and cut it and detangle it. Okay, it's a lot of curls that's connected, and when you really get in there, you'll start to see how many knots you actually have. From that small back section, this is how much hair that I actually cut out. Okay, and I'm actually gonna take my apple cider vinegar this time, and I'm gonna go in first before I detangle it. My scalp is really, really itchy, and this just works for me. And this is the best way I know how to, you know, clean off some of this stuff off my scalp. The dirt and the smell, the oil, whatever else is up in that scalp, without drying my hair out and without actually getting in the shower and washing my hair, because I plan on leaving this up for a couple more weeks. Okay, so I want to make sure that I actually get to clean my scalp and get some of this dirt off of it. Something. Right? I don't want to go all week with my scalp like this, another 2 weeks, because my scalp is a bit itchy right now. Okay, I'll just use another cotton ball because that one was getting a bit wet and all that other good stuff. Like, already my scalp is not itching as bad on this side, but this side it is really, really itching. So hopefully it'll kind of calm that down some. And the apple cider vinegar smell fades away. I like apple cider vinegar. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's actually dirt and stuff coming off of that. So I'm actually pretty happy about that, because my scalp needs to be clean. Ooh, these edges are beady. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I need to section this off because it's kind of big. And it's easier to work in sections when you're doing something like this. All right, move, get out the way. All right, so now I'm gonna take, look at that, all of this whole piece is gonna come off. I don't need that, and I'm gonna cut way up here. All right, that, because look how straight that is. That doesn't have much curl, and when I separate it, it's not gonna act right. So you want to get rid of that whole thing. Just toss it out. It's not yours. Kind of go through curl by curl, you know, like where it start here. Make sure it's tightened, and then that'll let you see what you have to work with. So I like to just kind of go through and separate and tighten and you know, make sure I get all this curl loose and all that other good stuff. Alright. Just go through and do that. Pull them or just yank them apart, girl. Just yank them apart. Alright. And to be honest, this is too big, so I'm going to move this part out the way and just work with this tiny little bit right here so I can really see what I'm doing. And look at that. Get all this worked out, these curls. All right, let's see how much I can salvage out of this curl. All right, so I'm just going to cut down here and let that go. And I do have an extra peck of hair, so that's why I'm not scared to cut out. I always overbuy, and that way I can go in and fill in later for a touch-up. You know, when you have your crochet braids in for 6 weeks, this is synthetic hair, so you have to go in and make sure that you touch this up, replace, replenish, you know, keep your hair looking fresh. All right, all that under there, all this has to come out. Let's see, how much can we? Yeah, that one's. And then sometimes what you can do is do a finger comb. Some people like to use combs, but that takes too much time, so I just like to kind of feel my way through it. See if I can get my hands through it a little bit. Separate these knots. See if it's some knots in there that's hiding. All right. Now that I got a lot of my knots out, this part, okay, that's how it looks at the ends, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna trim that up. You can use a comb. I would use a wide tooth comb. I wouldn't use like a narrow comb or something like that. But you can go in and trim that up. I mean, comb it out and then later trim all this stuff off the ends, because that's gonna lead to knots, like all these fuzzy ends. You can separate it, but I just do it together. Kind of cut around where I think it might frizz up later. See how that's all frizzy and stuff. All right, let's see. See, this part needs to be cut way up here. And I might just cut that whole, I might just take that whole piece out and replace that. Because I know I'm going to add some over here to this side. And you'll see how that'll blend in really well at the end. But the point is to get all these little fuzzy pieces off, because you want your curls to pop back. I think I just might get rid of that one, which is fine. This one right here. It's really not serving me no purpose. Okay. And then, you know, this is around the front of your hair, so you usually kind of mess with this part a lot, which is why it's kind of, this part is usually the part that's stretched out, messed up, linked to the side, down by the bayou, whatever you want to say. All right, you see, they just really define those curls when I cut that out. And those short pieces, baby, it's just gonna add volume. Volume. All right, we're gonna go through. I'm gonna keep doing this. These, like, these curls have been neglected, honey. I know it. Oh Lord, yeah, I've been through it. All right, I really should have clipped this part out the way, because I feel like I'm gonna get Susan happy. Ouch. All right, now we ready. We ready. We ready to cut this out. All right. Like the cloud, boo. I found you. They tend to hide, child. They tend to hide. They get looped in there with somebody else, hanging out, partying. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to find them. Find them. Find them, honey. Find them. Like, and you know, the further you move along, the better you'll get at it. the more you do it, and you just keep cutting and cutting, and don't get too happy. And just keep cutting, then you ain't got no more braids left, and then you end up, I mean, you don't have no more hair left, and you only got one more pack of hair left, and you don't know how to put in crochet braids. So you sitting over here with big gaps in your head. So you just have to be mindful of what you're doing when you cutting this stuff out. All right? Just be mindful, baby. Just be mindful. Oh, look at that. All right, we're going to finish this whole section. Then we're going to go in with that apple cider vinegar. And I like to use 2 different color clips, because that way I won't get them confused, get the sections and stuff confused, you know. And then it's also, you see how I'm going by rows? It's better to go by rows. That way you'll know which crochet is with what, because with curly hair, you'll get it confused. So, see how I got that braid? That braid didn't even go with that braid. That braid went with another braid. I mean, that curl went with, Lord. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. See that? This pole baby right here is being difficult. Okay. We got you kind of back in place. All right, now we got to clean y'all up. And we be ready to roll out. Just get in there. Just get in there. Don't be scared to cut it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, Lord. Because, you know, sometimes I see people crochet braids and I'm just like, Lord, please cut them fuzz balls out. Don't nobody have to actually have fuzz balls unless the whole head is a fuzz ball. But damn. Excuse my French. Just saying. Some of y'all should be looking like cotton balls. Literally. And I just want to take some scissors and go just cut that stuff out of people's heads. Especially people with the Jamaican bounce. Oh my gosh. Jamaican bounce requires so much more maintenance than people let on. If you have Jamaican bounce in your head more than 2 weeks and you had to put a pair of scissors to it, your shit look like a damn, excuse my language. But that's how serious I am. Your hair look like a rug mat. Like, seriously. Yeah, so you see at the end the difference of how it actually looked versus how it's going to look when I finish. And I go in and add these fresh pieces in, baby, because that fresh piece, these fresh pieces, see how I can run my fingers through that now? I couldn't do that before. You got Jamaican bounce, you still should be able to run your fingers through it. It should not be just... So y'all crochet braids died, Lord. They dead. They over with. Your scalp over with. That's irritating. Like, this side is still itching. This side, nah, we good. Yes. Just gonna finish off this section. Excuse me if I offended somebody, but if I offended you, that must be you that got fuzz balls. So we're gonna make sure that you can take care of those fuzz balls. Yes, sir. Ooh, I got him. I got one. Look at that. You know. That. And I am not gentle with it. Like, I go in with the force, honey. I want to get you up out of there. I ain't got time to be playing, being all cute with it. No. It don't hurt my scalp. These braids ain't tight. So I don't have to necessarily worry about me ripping my scalp from in my head. Which is why when I did the install video, if you hadn't checked it out, make sure you check it out. When I did the install video, I said to leave spaces. Okay, that way when you're doing curly hair anyway, you need to make sure you space this out, or you're gonna have a lion's mane, and some people do. If you want a lion's mane, that's one thing, but if you don't want hair that big and that'll cover like this, you need to be mindful of how you install that hair. Okay? Right. Look at that piece. I got you. Because this is going to lead to issues. This is like a bad boyfriend that you keep holding on to, baby. You just got to cut him out. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I even left a piece of them up there. We can still love them, but sometimes we gotta let them go, child. We gotta let them go. Can't be holding on to past things that hurt us and hold us back from greatness. Right? Look at that. I found you. We want to smooth all them nuts out. I should be able to run my fingers through it like I did in the beginning, because it's synthetic fiber, so this hair should not change molecular structure. Like, it should stay the same. You know, the only way it'll change is if I do something to cause it to change. You know, so I ain't do nothing to cause it to change, so therefore it should go back to where it was once I correct the issue, which is them dang on knots. All right, there we go. Go. All right. Now, we got this section done. Okay. Then I'm going to take my ACV and my water, and I'm not soaking it. I'm just kind of lightly spritzing it. Soften it up, a little water. If you want to just use water, if you're scared to use ACV thinking that it's going to smell really bad, you can test it out on one, which I did before I actually put it in this hair to see if it'll hold that apple cider vinegar smell, and it does not. So feel free to test it out on, you know, a piece of your hair or something like that to make sure that it works for you. And if it doesn't, just use a little water, which will be fine. All right, I'm going to go in and just finish cleaning out this section, and sure I trim up these ends, because I don't like the hanging ends. Like when you can see that hair hanging right here, I don't like that. I like to make sure that all of that is just gone. So I just keep running my fingers through it, keep running my fingers through it, and keep running my fingers through it until I get all of those hanging ends and anything else that looks distracting or takes away from what I'm going for, which is a clean, curly look. Look at that. I see you. Right. And make sure you set aside some time to actually do this. That way you won't feel like you're rushing through. Right. Alright, so we got this side, let's see, completely done. Then, alright, we got this side, so we can see this, looks like that, and this, it's a lot more cleaner and wavier. Okay, so I am done detangling. As you can see, it does not have all of those cobwebs like they did. But in some areas like here, okay, up here, you can see that, okay. And right here towards the center, it's a bit exposed. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a couple back here too. And fill in these spots with my extra hair. And then I'm going to slick down my edges. And then I will be done with this. As you can tell, I had to cut some. But I think that it has a nice shape and body. As long as you keep everything even as you're cutting, you should not have a problem. I did cut some pieces shorter, which gives it a more of a layered look, which I actually like all throughout it. It gives it more volume as well, because I did cut a lot of this hair off. So I'm glad I did not go through and just separate the pieces into tiny little pieces. I do keep the curls whole. If I can separate it, at the most I'll separate it once, and that way when I do go through and I start trimming and cutting and fixing up my hair, I won't have that problem of my hair being too thin. And then I also won't have that problem of over installing, because I do leave spaces. So over time your hair will get volume like this, and then you will have spots where you need to replace it like I do. Okay, so I'm just going to go in, and I'm actually going to, I'm not going to use that much. I'll probably use about 3 pieces of this hair, and then I'll go in and install it. I could add some more right here along my edges, but actually I don't want to do that. And that's my son coming in, so it's time for me to just install. Okay, so this is the finished product. As you can see, it's not all tangled like it was. It's nice and full. I used almost a whole half a pack. I did fill in a lot back here. Okay, I noticed I did have a lot of gaps, I guess because I did a lot of cutting towards the back of my hair. But it can last me another 2 weeks, girlfriend. Okay, check that out. Yes. So don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And you may share this video with all of your friends, especially if she got those little fuzz balls on the end. Just give her a little hint. Let her know that this video is for you, honey. Curls back on popping. What? Look at that body. Yes. Yes. Stiff wear. Stiff wear. Stiff. What? Stiff. Who crochet braids stiff? Yours? Cause not mine. No. I'm enjoying this life. Guess. Guys. So remember, if you have any matted things or anything like that, go ahead and cut that out. Oh, for nighttime. Alright, here's my nighttime routine. I'm going to take my silk scarf. You can use any one that you want. Okay, I'm going to use this one. And the only thing I'm going to do is first tie down my edges. Okay, we want to make sure we always protect our edges at night. And I do it like this because I sleep horrible at nighttime, so I have to make sure that my edges stay protected all night. I'm not so much worried about the weave itself, because again, that's not my hair, but my edges is my hair. So I'm just gonna tie that up, and then grab one of our trusty bonnets. This is nice and big and loose, so my curls can do their little thing. And I just plop these suckers in there like this. Okay, and this routine is pretty good for any crochet braids. You can take an extra scarf if you want to, but it gets kind of hot for me, so I only use one scarf. But if you are afraid that the bonnet is going to come off itself, you can tie this, the one you use for your edges on the outside, or for extra protection, because sometimes you see how it's kind of hanging back here. It can be irritating, especially when you get ready to take a shower. So you want to get that off your neck. So I just kind of take another scarf and scoop all that up off my neck. Make sure I get all that hair in there first. Scoop it all up, even my little scarf. Just make sure that's all out the way. Put my hair in there. Make sure that cap is good and tucked in there.
Mommy, it's raining outside.
It is raining outside. We're going to sleep nice. It is a big storm outside right now. So this would be perfect because it is bedtime. And until next time, peace, love, happiness. Keep calm and pray on.